안녕하세요. Greetings and welcome, 8th graders. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to all of you who attended our live lecture yesterday. Let me apologize for any kind of hiccups or slowdowns that we had in the presentation. Mr. O and I are still getting used to the technology, and hopefully things will improve as we continue to go on. I know a lot of people were confused at the end of his lecture when he was talking about Earth's magnetic field. Basically, all you need to know is that the outer core is made of liquid iron, and because that liquid iron is spinning, it creates a magnetic field which protects the Earth from the sun's radiation and from cosmic rays. That's all you need to know. Today, our lecture is going to be on convection. So our entrance task is to think about what's going to happen if we put food coloring into a glass of water, and why will this happen. So this picture will kind of give you a hint about what's going to happen. We talked about this in class before as well. So go ahead, just take about 2 or 3 minutes, hit the pause button on this video, and write down what's going to happen if we put food coloring in a glass of water and why. Our objectives for today are pretty simple. Number one, I can understand mantle convection. That's our content objective. And for our language objective, it's that you can simply describe what mantle convection is. Keywords, we got 3 of them. The first is equilibrium. Second is convection. And the last one is fracture. Okay, let's jump into equilibrium. Equilibrium is simply balance. When things are balanced, they're in equilibrium. And this is a concept that we are going to hear all the time in science class. We heard about it in astronomy when we talked about stars. The star has a balance of gravity and fusion that keeps it from either ripping itself apart or collapsing into a black hole. This idea of equilibrium is the reason why CO2 goes out of our blood and oxygen goes into our blood. Okay, there are different concentrations of CO2 in the blood and in the air that we breathe, and so our body tries to equalize those concentrations by putting CO2 out and by pulling oxygen in. So equilibrium is a really important concept when we talk about earth science as well. So equilibrium is at work when we talk about convection. And convection is simply when two liquids or gases with two different temperatures try to mix in order to achieve equilibrium. Here we have a picture of lava lamps, and you can see that at the bottom, this sort of plastic-like substance is heating up. As it gets hot, it rises, it goes up. As it goes up, it cools off. As it cools off, it drops down. And so this is a very simple form of convection. Now, mantle convection happens because the mantle, which is the layer that's situated between the crust and the core, that layer has different temperatures. So the part of the mantle that's closest to the lithosphere or closest to the Earth's crust, that's going to be cooler. The part of the mantle that's near the outer core is going to be hotter. And then so we have this type of circulation that happens. So the hot mantle is going to move upwards towards the surface, and the cooler mantle towards the surface is going to move down towards the core. And so that movement is what creates mantle convection. Here we have an image of mantle convection as well. And basically it's showing what I was describing. So we've got the core. The mantle that's near the core is hot, so it rises, it moves along underneath the crust of the Earth, and then once it travels so far, it begins to move back down towards the core. So as this convection is happening, it's creating something that we call plate tectonics. We're going to have a bunch of slides on this for our next lesson, and this is pretty much what our geology unit is all about, is plate tectonics. So as that mantle is moving, as convection is happening, the mantle is moving, and it's pulling the Earth's crust along with it. It's not moving very fast. It's moving at maybe like inches per year, but it is moving. And so this movement actually causes Earth's crust kind of fractures into different plates. And so those different plates move in different directions. They can move towards each other, they can move away from each other, or they can kind of move up and down against each other. So mantle convection causes the Earth's plates to move. And here we have an image of mantle convection. You can see we've got one plate actually kind of running into another and going underneath it. This is called subduction. And so we can see this plate is running underneath it, and actually as this plate goes underneath it, all of this sort of organic material from the ocean floor, like dead phytoplankton, I don't know, whale poop, whatever, all this organic material, it begins to burn up as it goes down into the mantle. And as it burns up, it releases carbon dioxide gas. That carbon dioxide gas forces its way up to the surface, carries along magma with it, and you have a volcano. Anyways, we're going to talk more about this later, but these are the fundamental concepts that we have about this topic of convection. So for homework, this will be a really easy assignment. I want you to just simply draw and label a picture of mantle convection. If you need some help doing this, a couple slides back I have a picture of mantle convection as well. If you have any questions, please hit me up at sjkwok@sejongacademy.org. You can also always drop in during office hours between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. During office hours, if you go to the Google Meet room, it's going to say that no one's in there, but if you actually go inside the room itself, then you'll find that I'm in there. A couple students missed meeting with me because they clicked on the link. It said no one was in the room, but actually if they would have went in the room, they would have found me. Anyways, contact me if you have any questions. Otherwise, just draw and label a picture of mantle convection and upload it to Schoology. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night.